Don't you just hate turning on the TV late at night looking for something to watch and all you can find is frickin' reruns? It's just the worst. The worst. Who am I kidding? I love reruns. Now I don't want to alarm anyone. Is your debris cat making too much noise all the time?
I haven't really prepared for this.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hawks Recap. My name is Clay. Thank you for tuning in. The Blackhawks have just completed their 14th game of this shortened season, which means we are officially a quarter of the way through. I know, it's crazy to think about already, a quarter of the way through. Time flies when you're having fun. For the second straight game, the Blackhawks go down to Dallas, or stay in Dallas, in this game's case, and come away with the 2-1 overtime victory over the defending Western Conference champion Dallas Stars. 4 out of 4 possible points against the Dallas Stars in Dallas. Who thought that was going to happen? I'll be real with you. I ain't here to lie to you. I ain't here to deceive you. I didn't think it was going to happen. Coming into the series, the Blackhawks had yet to win on the road. Had yet to win in overtime. But not anymore. Frickin' crushed it. But wait, this team was supposed to be bad. This team was supposed to be vying for a top overall pick. This team was going to be possibly worse than the Red Wings. This team didn't even have a goalie. And yet, here we are, a quarter of the way through the season. The Hawks sit at 16 points through 14 games. And if you really want to sit down and think about it, the Hawks lost in regulation in their first 3 games, which means they got 0 points in the first 3 games of their season. So the Hawks technically got 16 points in 11 games. That's not too shabby. The Hawks sit in second place in the Central Division. I know there's teams that haven't played as many games, and if you look at points percentage, whatever. Even where we are, just looking at points, being tied for second place in the division, like who even would have thought that they would be in even this position at any point this season, let alone a quarter of the way through? Not a lot of people. I certainly didn't. I had 0 expectations for this season, and this was prior to the Taves and Doc news. When the Blackhawks announced they weren't re-signing Crawford and they were, going to be officially rebuilding and they were going to let, young players get their chance, I thought, okay, fine. We got a weird season coming up, shortened season, 56-game schedule, all divisional play. It's not a normal, season. And we have an expansion draft coming up right after it. All right, whatever happens, happens. I just kind of want to see how the young guys do, how they develop through the year. I don't really care all that much about results. Well, we're a quarter of the way through the season, and my expectations are straight up shattered. Mitchell, Beaudin, Kurashev, Hagel, Lankinen. I mean, there's something there with these kids, and we're finding it out. It's glaringly obvious just a quarter of the way through this season. And remember, there wasn't much of a training camp. There were no preseason games. These kids were thrown into the fire this season, and they all said, let's frickin' go. This team is so much fun to watch right now. They're hardworking. They got just enough talent to go along with it, and they're getting some results while they're at it. And you may think, well, at some point, they'll regress or they'll drop down or whatever. Lankinen will get figured out because we're playing the same teams over and over and over again. They'll make adjustments. Whatever. Who cares? Enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy it because this is a lot better than a lot of us thought this season was going to be. The Hawks are on a 3-game winning streak right now, and they've just completed a 2-game road trip sweep of the defending Western Conference champions. Lankinen got the start in net tonight for the Hawks. Ottinger got the start once again for the Stars, and both these games this series, the goaltenders have been fantastic on both sides. Subban had a fantastic game. Lankinen had a fantastic game in this one. And Ottinger has played well in these 2 games for Dallas. Like, it's not like Ottinger just straight up sucked and the Hawks lucked into these wins. Like, Ottinger played really well. This was, 2 games that featured a total of 6 goals. Like 2-1 in each game. That's, you know, a pretty defensive goaltender type battling series of games. The Hawks came out hot in this game. First 5 minutes was all Hawks. First 3 shots of this game were by the Blackhawks. But despite how good they played to start this game, they would find themselves down a goal early. Just about 5 minutes into this game, Pius Suter tries to skate the puck out of the zone. He gets stripped of the puck. He would actually end up getting it back in the defensive zone and have a chance to clear it out, but he would turn the puck over again, and the puck would go straight to Roope Hintz's stick, and he's all alone behind the defense, one-on-one with Lankinen, and he just makes a good move. I mean, he straight up freezes Lankinen with the move and just pots it into a wide-open net. And just like that, the Dallas Stars are up 1-0 on their very first shot on goal. It would be a little too good to be true for Dallas, because after that, well, Lankinen would stop every single shot. But for the time being, that goal seemed to give Dallas a bit of juice to get into the game. They got their legs under them. They had some pace to them in this game that was missing from the first game. And the latter half of that first period, they were pretty darn good. They got hampered by some penalties. They got in trouble a little bit. But other than that, Dallas looked a lot better, and you knew Hawks were going to be in for a tough one in this game. And then the second period was all Dallas. Not even close. They were just dominating the Hawks. I'm surprised they didn't get another goal. And it looked like they did. It really did look like they increased their lead to 2 goals. Jamie Benn finds a loose puck in front and just pots it home, roofs it over Lankinen, who's just kind of all sprawled on the ground. But there was a reason why Lankinen was sprawled on the ground, and that's because Jamie Benn kind of cross-checked him in the shoulder and shoved him down to the ground. There was goalie interference. So the goal was negated, and Dallas is still only 1 goal up. But with just about 6 minutes left to go in the second period, the Blackhawks would find themselves on the power play, and once again, somehow, some way, it would find a way. Dominik Kubalik with the puck on the right-hand side throws the puck towards the crease area where former Dallas star Mattias Janmark has his stick, and that stick gets a little bit of puck and deflects it past Ottinger through the 5-hole, ties this game up. Janmark scoring against his former team, you'll love to see it. So this game is tied at 1 heading into the third period, and the third period would be pretty darn fun to watch. Both teams getting their chances pretty even, back and forth, 10 shots apiece. Good pace as well. The entire game had a pretty good pace. This was a fun game to watch. Even with only 3 total goals being scored, this was an entertaining game. But both goaltenders would say, no way, Jose, in this third period. And so, for the second straight game, we would head to overtime, tied at 1, featuring a 5-on-5 Dallas Stars goal and a power play Blackhawks goal. And for the second straight game, thankfully, it would be the Blackhawks scoring in overtime. But this time, the Hawks couldn't rely on a savvy goal from a grizzled old vet like Alex DeBrincat or Patrick Kane. No, tonight's heroes were a bunch of young guns. In fact, every single player on the ice for the Blackhawks for this overtime goal was a rookie. Kevin Lankinen in net. Ian Mitchell on defense. Brandon Hagel taking the puck into the zone. Cuts across the ice, throws the puck back to Pius Suter, who grabs the puck, picks it up. And it wasn't the easiest one to pick up. It was kind of near the feet, but he picks it up and then some. Those forehand, backhand leaves the defenseman in the dust, and it's not just any defenseman. That is John Klingberg we're talking about. But Pius Suter blows right by him. Back to forehand, bar, and in. Game over. I was so happy to see Suter get that goal. I mean, he had a rough first period in this one. He had the turnovers that led to Dallas's only goal in this game, and he had some other mistakes in that first. But getting the redemption in overtime, oh, that's just the story you dream of writing about. So the Blackhawks just won 2 games in overtime against the Dallas Stars. And in those 2 games against the Dallas Stars, the Blackhawks gave up a total of 2 goals. 2 goals total. None of which came on a power play. If you remember, the Stars had the best power play in the league coming into this game. And the Blackhawks PK stepped up. Now, the Hawks did a good job staying out of the penalty box in this series. Didn't give the Stars a whole lot of opportunities on the power play, but when they did get opportunities, Blackhawks PK did a great job. And they had to, for the Hawks to only give up 2 goals in this series. That's pretty darn good against the defending Western Conference champions. One thing to add to that, Blackhawks didn't even have Connor Murphy in this game. He is out day-to-day with a hip injury. So the Hawks went with 7 defensemen and 11 forwards. That 7th defenseman being Madison Bowie. So he got his debut as a Blackhawk in this game. And to note, because of that, Madison Bowie is now eligible for the Seattle expansion draft. And that's important because the Hawks don't have a whole lot of players right now that are actually eligible to be exposed in that draft. And the Hawks need players to be exposed in the draft. So to have a guy like Madison Bowie, who's most likely not going to be part of the future of this Hawks team, be eligible for that, that's good for the Hawks when planning, for who to protect and who to expose. And I know I got to do a video on that. I know, and I will. But until then, I say thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that as always. But most importantly, stay safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you next time.